What is up, y'all? It's your boy 314 Cam here, back with another video. Hope everybody had a great holiday season since we all last spoke, since my last video here. Now we're gonna do something a little different, a little special here today. New Year's is coming up, and I want to kind of end the new year off with a few videos of what has personally always been my favorite game of all time. That is the Destiny franchise, both 1 and 2, which I know it's not loved or beloved by the public too much, especially nowadays with everything that's going on. So there is a lot going on in the Destiny community, the community stuff, and everything that's going on with Bungie. Obviously, they're not in too good of a place with some of the things that's been rumored to be going on at the office and all that different type of stuff. That's not what I'm here to get into with this video. That stuff has nothing to do with me. It's not my business to speak on it. As an outsider, I'll just, you guys want to read up on that, you can always check on that on Twitter. But what I want to kind of speak on is the state of Destiny 2, the game itself, and what's going on in the game, the state of this in, some pros, some cons, things like that. I kind of want to get into that type of stuff rather than do what everybody else is trying to do and milk all the drama at the Bungie facility for views. I'm not here to do that. Okay, so let's talk. So I want to be very, very clear. This is not scripted in any shape, way, or form. I'm not about to, I don't have a little super long list of, oh my God, I hate the game for this, I love the game for that, any of that stuff. I just recently been doing a lot of Grandmasters and stuff over the past week or so on my, Titan, Hunter, and Warlock, as you can actually see in the gameplay background here. And it just kind of got me thinking about like some of the stuff that's been going on. So, Destiny, it just hit year 10, right? And they just released their final shape. I don't want to say just, it's been a while. But regardless, we're in the final shape expansion now, right? And it's crazy. Final shape, it was a beautiful expansion. It was done perfectly. The story was fantastic. The way the campaign ended, the way it bled into some of the in-game activities like the raid and what is it called? What is it? I can't think of the name of it. It's excavation or whatever it's called, where you actually do finally kill the witness, stuff like that. Some of the follow-up activities and everything were great. Like Final Shape, when that released, put the game in a really, really, really good place. It had nothing but positive reviews. It put the game back in the state that it was in when Wrath of the Machine and Rise of Iron and Taken King dropped, right? Those like, wow, this game is great, positive states. And then shortly after the first episode dropped, and it didn't really do too good. Like, it was nothing wrong per se. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible content or anything. It just really didn't do too good. It felt like we went from a top tier DLC back to, I don't know, it's kind of like Bungie themselves didn't really know where they wanted to take the story from there, and it just felt very lackluster from that point. Like, they poured everything into the DLC, and then it was like, oh wait, what do we do now? And it just was a very lackluster story with some pretty mediocre content. But like some of the stuff, it was some highlights in there though. There was a few activities they came out with that were pretty great, things like that. The player base dropped a little bit, but nothing too crazy, like nothing they could recover from, right? Until this episode started. So we are in episode 2 now, and this one is by far the worst. This is by far the worst state Bungie and Destiny has been in years. The player base for the game has decreased significantly. Like, I think this is the lowest it's ever been recorded. This new episode we're in, there's no real content to do. There's nothing in this episode that drives you to want to play the game. Like, even when I try to get some of my friends who don't play Destiny to come join, stuff like that, I can't even really think of anything super fun for them to do. Like, hey, this is gonna make you want to start playing. And they're like, dude, what am I on there for? Like, this new episode, I feel like there's a huge lack of content, and then the content they have is just recycled. Like, they brought back a couple Grandmasters, changed them up, didn't really change it for the better. They suck. The original way was better for most of them. They brought Onslaught back again, even though it didn't really go nowhere. And instead of just updating the current Onslaught game mode with, some new stuff in it, they made a whole new game mode for it. And it's like, why? Like, it really was no point. All you did was add a few more usable weapons and a different enemy type. You could have put that in the regular one and changed the loot pool. And then speaking of loot pool, they brought the Onslaught game mode, revamped it, and didn't even change the loot pool. Like, you get the same weapons. So it just feels pointless. You could just do the easier, older version if you're just going to be getting the same weapons. Like, there's nothing new really in there. They just added like 2 or 3 more mechanics that don't fundamentally change it in any shape, way, or form. It was like, oh, instead of putting this in the original playlist, I'm going to create a whole separate one and try to convince people to buy this battle pass or season pass to play it. It just doesn't work. It's stupid. And that alone, on top of the fact that the story for this episode is horrible, like, you're bringing back the Fanatic. The Fanatic killed Cade. This should be a fantastic storyline. There are so many different ways you can go with this, and it's just been, you know, lackluster to say the least. It started off good. We captured Eris Morn. You know, once, like I said, Fanatic came back after he killed Cade. You know, just recently after Cade just came back in Final Shape. Like, there's a lot going on. Crow's the new Vanguard, all that, and they're not utilizing any of that in the story. This story is boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you got to force yourself to even want to complete it. And it's crazy that you have to force yourself to want to complete it because the story is so short. That's another complaint. They're not utilizing the story correctly. The story is so short. Do you know that you can complete the entire Act 1, 2, and 3 in under an hour for the new story that they have? That's insane, right? And I try not to be so negative about things. Like, I think the addition of having the slightly longer seasons and dropping it in 3 parts so that people will have to come back to finish these battle passes out, I think that was smart. I think the 9 Grandmasters instead of 6 is also smart because it adds more incentive. I think some of the new modifiers are pretty cool. I don't like all of them, like the weapon decay thing. I think it's dumb. Some of these, I think they really didn't think through too much. Like, the weapon decay. Oh, if you use, you know, a scout rifle and pulse rifle too much, it makes the gun weaker, so you gotta switch to a shotgun or SMG. It sounds cool in theory, but then you make scout rifles and pulse rifles the anti-barrier and unstoppable and overload of the season, and then you put unstoppable, anti-barrier, and overload in the Grandmasters, so where we have to use them, and there's no real reason or need to switch to anything else, so you end up just putting this annoying negative effect on Grandmasters that make it kind of not fun, right? Like, there's just a lot of dumb decisions being made on top, and I don't understand. I feel like there's no real effort being put into it. I don't know if it's because of everything going on with, you know, some of the Dales being laid off or whatever it may be. They haven't had time to put the effort required into it, and they keep making all these Twitter posts about, oh, we're gonna change some things, we're gonna do a full revamps. Where is it? Where is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a year. We need new stuff. Like, the game is dying now. I'm very disappointed. But regardless, though, like, the game itself, I still love it. I think Destiny as a franchise is amazing. I love what they've done with the Warlocks this expansion, right? I've anybody that knows me that plays Destiny with me will tell you I'm an avid Warlock hater. But I feel like they've made a lot of positive changes towards the Warlock. I think the prismatic on the Hunter and Titan is fantastic. I think the new supers are fantastic. Like, all the stuff that Final Shape brought into the game, I find to be extremely enjoyable, extremely fantastic. But everything following Final Shape has been trash. There has not been a single thing since Final Shape dropped that's made me go, oh my god, I want to play the game. Like, I've had to force myself back on the game because I was like, oh wait, I need to complete my Grandmasters so I can continue to get my Gilded Conqueror. And I couldn't even have fun doing it because some of the new stupid modifier changes. Like, some of them are dumb, some of them are good, but most of them are dumb. Like, it makes no sense, you know? And I feel like Bungie isn't really applying themselves the way they used to. I don't know if they're letting some of the drama and stuff that's been going on get to them. I don't know if it's like Sony's been pushing them to, you know, make certain changes now that Sony's acquired majority shareholder of their company. Like, I don't know what's going on, but some of the changes in this game have been literally trash, and it is so heartbreaking and disappointing. So that's just some of the cons. I just wanted to get the negative stuff out the way. Some positive changes, though. Like I said, the Warlocks in this whole past year since Final Shape has been out are fantastic. the changes they've made to the Warlock, the abilities you can use, the versatility that comes with all of them, the new exotics they've gotten are amazing. As a person who genuinely hates Warlock, I've been enjoying myself playing on them. They're amazing. The changes with some of the Titan stuff, you know what I'm saying, is fantastic, especially the way that they keep updating and upgrading the Unbreakable shield. I think it's awesome. It adds a lot of versatility to the Titans, and also adds just a whole new meaning to being a tank, being a wall, right? Stuff like that. So I feel like there is a lot of good stuff going on here, right? It's just being a little bit outweighed by the bad. I know I mentioned earlier how some of the changes they've made to some of the Grandmasters are stupid, but I think this one that you're seeing in the background, Inverted Spire, I think there were a lot of positive changes with this one. It makes it feel like a Grandmaster. It actually is fun. It's great. It doesn't feel super easy to complete. I think it's awesome. But then you got stuff like the Arms Dealer, and it's just like, dude, why? Why did you change this much of it? It was dumb. So it's just like I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. And with double-edged swords, you know, you kind of want to land in the middle. Nothing too bad, nothing too good. But they're just like, they're landing on both ends. They'll be like, okay, boom, let's get something great. And then, all right, we release something great. Let's release something horrible right afterwards, you know? It's just not too good at all. I feel like they really need to pull a year 3 of Destiny 1 and just do a full revamp of all the old content in the game and bring out entirely new loot pools and just do a full revamp. I don't know if you guys remember in year 3 of D1, right before Destiny 2 was about to drop, they did a full revamp of the game. They revamped all the old content. They brought in a bunch of new loot tables and loot pools for every piece of content. They did major updates on all the old raids and everything, brought new loot pools into them, made them up the light level on every single activity, so there wasn't a single activity you couldn't do for light level and challenge reads and stuff like that. Like, they just did a full revamp on the game before Destiny 2 came out, and I feel like that's what's needed now for Destiny 2. It needs a D1 year 3 revamp treatment because it has just not been a fun game lately. I really do hope they do get it together. I have nothing but the best of hopes for the people at Bungie, the people who, you know, make this game, us as players. I want nothing but the best for this game. I've been playing Destiny since the D1 vanilla beta, I believe it was a beta. So obviously, like I said, this game's been out 10 years. I've been playing for 10 years now. It's, you know, my whole childhood to my adult life. I think it's a great game. I think it's just, as of right now, it needs a lot of change. Like, whenever people used to be like, oh, why do you play Destiny? Get off Destiny. I used to literally be able to, like, oh, hop on there with me. And if they actually did it, they understood why I played it. They loved it. They were like, okay, this is actually fun. I got to start playing this more. But nowadays, I can't, like, if I get somebody to hop on here, it's hard to find content that's actually enjoyable to do and get them to actually want to stay. Like, you can't even get a 4-hour in these days of gameplay. It's crazy. You get most of your gameplay from these 30-minute Grandmasters. Like, it's crazy. So I don't know. I'm really just rambling at this point. It's just a lot wrong with the game. I think a lot of different changes need to be made. I don't know if some people need to be moved around at the Bungie studios. You know, some of the people in charge need to be redirected to other areas. They need to bring in some new creative heads with new ideas. But something needs to change quick. I heard that there are some rumors that they are supposed to be changing this whole episode thing and how they're dropping them, starting with the new year, the 2025 stuff going on. I also heard they're supposed to, instead of trying to like drop a bunch of huge expansions every year, they're going to go back to the vanilla ways of doing some story-based content 2 to 3 times a year. So hopefully that adds a big change to it, as a new development, gives them something to do. Or hey, maybe they need to just go ahead, say forget it, screw it, and release a D3. You know what I'm saying? And just get a whole fresh start. I don't know. But something definitely needs to change. Some new creative ideas need to be thrown out there. A revamp needs to happen, because with the direction the game is headed in now, it will die. I don't know if they're like trying to slowly kill the game for the new marathon game, that IP that they're working on, or what. But if that's not what they're trying to do, then something needs to change drastically and immediately. Okay. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's my little ramble about all the things currently wrong with the game and the few slight positives there are currently. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Enjoy the rest of the content. This Grandmaster was irritating me a little bit. I was down to a lot of stupid things. But regardless, we did get a completed first go. It was great. I did clean up my act a little bit from this point forward in the video, so don't worry. But yeah, guys, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Wish you the best. Peace out.